I'm Diana, and this is Juliana, and we're here to interview you for the Witness to War Serving a Nation Oral History Project for Mr. Mack's Civics and Government class.
What's that? What's that?
It's our class. It's one of our classes at school.
Yeah, just, let's see if I can. Well, yeah.
Okay. How did you end up on Cape Cod?
Oh, like what?
How did you end up on Cape Cod?
I was born here.
Okay. Why did you join the
I was born here in Seattle.
Alright. Why did you join the service?
I felt it was one of the things that I should do at the time. I loved the Navy. I went in the Navy and I loved it.
What was something you loved about it the most?
Well, I got what I wanted. I worked on guns most of the time.
What did
On
you
the
do?
battleship, and when I went into school, I wanted to be a gunner's mate, and I ended up being a torpedo gun instead. That's after I left the battleship Massachusetts, and after I went on board the submarine, they changed me from a torpedo man to a gunner's mate. Because the gunner's mate we were supposed to get on board was shipped to another sub. So that's how I ended up being a gunner's mate. And I love my work in the Navy. And if you behaved in the Navy, your advancements were quick. So I advanced pretty quick.
What was an everyday meal during your service?
Everyday meal?
Yes.
Oh God, it was on the battleship. We went down for breakfast in different groups, and they had everything: ham and eggs, and scrambled eggs and ham, and they ate good. I had some beautiful meals.
What was your favorite meal?
Oh, I think breakfast was my favorite. Yeah.
Describe how being in the war affected your life today.
Huh?
Describe how being in the war affected your life today.
I think by rights I'm not supposed to be here.
How come?
I left after we came back from the invasion of North Africa on the battleship. I got my orders to report to sub school, but that's what I wanted when I was in boot camp, go to submarine school. And at the time when I come back, I put a brand new submarine in commission from Newport. And we left here, stopped at Panama one day, the first day we got down there on this side, the Atlantic side. And then during the day we went through the canal and we stopped on the Pacific side, Balboa, overnight. Then we pulled anchor and went to straight through to Hawaii, Pearl Harbor. In fact, when we pulled into Pearl Harbor, one of the old battleships that got sunk in Oklahoma, they had pumps going and it was pumping the water out of it. They were raising it where she was sunk. And the submarine base was opposite the position where all the battleships were, Arizona and all those. And we were there I think just about 2 weeks. We'd go out and practice. We'd have trial runs and come back in. And I had a problem with swallowing my stomach, so they sent me up to base hospital. And when they did that, he says, "I'm going to keep you overnight," the doctor. And I says, "You can't keep me overnight because my son's moving out tomorrow." And he says, "You're going to be here tied up." So my son left out on patrol the next day, next morning, 5 o'clock. And I wasn't on it. Her first patrol on, she never come back. She got sunk. So I was lucky. I wasn't on it. That's what I say. I'm not supposed to be here. So you figure it when you figure that out. If I was on that submarine, I'd have been gone. There'd been no Brian and Wayne. I would have never married here. The whole situation would have been different.
You served in World War II, right?
Yeah.
What comes to mind?
Don't forget to tell them. Don't forget to tell them about sick bay.
Already.
What comes to mind when you hear World War II?
What was?
What comes to mind when you hear World War II?
Well, I think the thing was going over the. We pulled out of Portland, Maine, Casco Bay, after all our runs on the battleship Massachusetts. And all of a sudden, after about a month, we were out early in the morning, and there's a lot of ships following us. And the next morning, nobody knew we didn't know where we were going. They didn't tell us. And the next morning, there's more ships. We headed, finally they told us we headed for North Africa, off the coast of North Africa, the invasion off Casablanca. And that was the one thing that I really watched. But we got on, and we were supposed to go in there. The soldiers were supposed to be able to launch and go right in, but they turned backwards and they couldn't do that. So they had to land through invasion. And they were way up the coast from us, and you could see the smoke screens that the ships were laid down while they were landing in our landing craft. And that's one of the things that I really
Diana, did you know his grandmother had a house
so that was,
here? That's where he came when he came down the Cape again,
so that was it.
after he was in the service.
That's great, thank you.
So I put in just under 6 years, regular Navy. I got come out first class gunner's mate. So I did pretty good. I was in there.
What was it like on the ships?
What was it like?
What was it like on the ships?
Well, just like normal on the beach. The only trouble was you didn't have much room to walk around in. Unless you're walking on water.
So they were like really small?
No, the battle wagon is, I was on that a little over a year, and I never got through the whole ship. That's how big it was. That thing there is it's 5 different decks down. It's like it's got 5 stories, you know, a battleship. And she was quite a ship. She had a good record. After I got off her, she went to the Pacific, and she had a good record. She was in a lot of landings to the islands. So it was pretty good. So,
What was your happiest memory you have of the war?
I didn't get
What
that.
was the happiest memory you have of the war? Like from the war?
After work,
No, of the... What was the happiest memory you have of the war? Like
oh,
in
of
the
the
time
war.
of the war.
When it was over. That was it. I remember I was in Hawaii when the war got over here on the Atlantic side in Europe, Berlin and them. And they showed, of course we watched and listened on the, no TV then, we watched and listened on the radio about the whole thing on the Atlantic side of the war was over in Europe, and about people dancing all over the place. But and then there was, later on, things got going down the Pacific. it was kind of nice to hear that the thing was finally getting over with. You know, it was, so I had planned to go stay in the Navy eventually. I did, and I come home here on leave. I got so much leave to make up, and I met this Doris, and we got going. There was no more Navy. That finished that. So I've never been sorry for not going back. 'Cause, I got two good guys that are grown up. They got their own places, you know. So, in fact, they got bigger houses than I got.
What was your darkest moment from the war?
I got a what?
What was your darkest moment from the war?
Oh, I think when watching President Roosevelt when he died.
You watched it?
Well, on radio, and TV. That's when black and white TV was on. I watched it. Yeah, the whole thing was done, and that was the saddest one of my life. When we lost him, because we had Vice President Truman was then, and Truman was made president. I loved Truman. He was a good president. But you realize you probably don't know how long President Roosevelt was in there.
No, I don't.
Well, it seemed like it was a lifetime. But he died during the tail end of the war, just before. I don't remember, was it before Europe was done or after? I don't know for sure. But he was, and of course Truman took over. He was made president. And everybody liked him. And then, of course, when they came up with a surprise with this atomic bomb, that they figured if they made an invasion on Japan, there were going to be millions of soldiers going to be killed. So he put the order through to drop that first bomb on Hiroshima. And a few days later, they dropped another one. I can't think of the name anyways. Well, after the second bomb, the Japanese decided to surrender. Then they had to surrender, which they showed on TV, of the Japanese surrendering on the battleship Missouri. That was the biggest moment of this whole thing, when everything was all over. Because, boy, an awful lot of people got killed. Especially in Iwo Jima was the worst one. But it was the worst invasion of any island. That's the one with the flag raising. And that was the worst one. They lost 8,000 Marines there in 2 days. And so after the war was over with that was the best thing there was, that surrendering on the battleship Missouri. Of course, I wasn't there. I was back in the States when I left. You know.
Describe a memorable person you met during your service.
A memorable place.
Person.
Or
place, whichever.
Like a person. A memorable person. Let's see. I'm trying to think of that. You know, it's funny, it's hard to remember because all the guys I knew on the submarine, I can't remember their names. You know, that's what happens when you get older.
Yeah.
Your memory slips by. So I can't pick any one person out.
Okay. A memorable place?
Place?
Yeah, a place that you remember the most.
Oh, the one place I'd love to be is Hawaii.
What did you love about it?
Oh, Jesus, beautiful. Yeah, I wish it was on, we was on the main island, Oahu, and Honolulu. We used to make, in those days when I was there, the main street of Hawaii, Honolulu, was like Charles, just the 2 lanes. Now it's 6 lanes, and it's how everything's changed. And when I was there, the only hotel that was on Waikiki Beach was Royal Hawaiian, and that was taken over by the Navy during the war for submarine crews. When they came back after submarine runs, they would get there 2 weeks or 3 weeks, R&R, at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. And now the whole thing is hundreds of them, the way it's grown up. But I always wanted to go back and never got the chance. And if I did go back, I would never be here. Because it is beautiful.
Did you tell them how you got out of the service and came and married a Turtle girl?
Yeah. I can hear you here,
What? Oh,
I
didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You said you went to submarine school, correct?
What's that?
You said you went to a submarine, training school thing?
Yeah, I went to New London, Connecticut was the sub base in New London Literature School. You went through school, or you either going to be, when you come out, you're either going to be a machinist mate or a torpedo man. But I wanted gunner's mate, as I said before. And I went through school, torpedo school. When I come out, I was torpedo in 3rd class, but when I went on the sub, they changed me to gunner's mate 3rd class. So I ended up getting what I wanted, and I enjoyed. It was tough for me going through sub school because I only went to 8th grade.
What was it like?
And I had to buckle down and study and study and study, and because anybody that went in, you had to know the submarine, just like everything in your own house. You had to know everything about the whole submarine. That wherever your station was, like I was stationed in the forward torpedo room, and then on the battle runs. But ordinarily, I'd be on the helm, which would be steering the sub, or I'd be on the dive planes, which makes it go up and down. See, and we learned from that. And it was a 2-month course. You had to. Some of these guys, they come out of college or high school, and everything was easy for them. But I had to study like hell. To pass, you had to pass everything. Then we had to draw. They give just like in school. They tell you draw a picture of all the water lines, all the air lines, every line through that you pass through the sub, the electrical lines, everything. They're all marked with different colors, so you know which line is which. And you had to draw. They tell you to draw of the torpedo room, and all these lines had to be put in, everything. And that's just like you take a test in high school. We had the same thing. That's how they finish up with. And after you go to board a submarine, there'll be an officer to take you through the whole sub and ask you questions about this part, and that part. And then after that's done, then you get your qualification certificate that you're a submariner. Then you get the submarine pin, which I'll show you. I'll be right back. Can I leave?
Yeah, you can. Oh.
I'll be right back.
What? I don't know what you said.
That's a qualified submarine pit.
That's so cool. It's so pretty. What are the other ones you
These are, this is the Atlantic. This one's the Pacific. This was good. This one was so many years, and this, I don't know, this is, American something. I'd have to check and find out this one. The red one's a good conduct. So,
What about all the little?
this is the Legion, American Legion. I got 72 years continuous service in American Legion, and I got the same. I'm a lifetime member of the VFW, 72 years. So I got plaques up there that I got on the 70th year. I got a plaque from the American Legion headquarters, and I got also from the post. I belong to the local Legion post. We had our own Legion post here in Shirley years ago. And I got 8mm film the way they used to march down from the town hall on Memorial Day to the fire station, where the memorial is now. Used to be the fire station there, in Churro Square. And that's what one of those is every 5 years.
What's the 287?
That's the name of the post.
Okay.
That's the name of the post. Everyone, that's the Wolfley Post.
How old were you when you first started getting interested in it?
When I went in the Navy?
Yeah, how old were you?
17. I went in March 2nd, 1942, 17 years old.
How old were you when you
I
went
didn't
to
know.
submarine school and all that?
I didn't know anything. I had to learn, because I was in Revere working for my uncle. He had a big garage in Revere, and I worked nights there. And I think I told you that we ate at the diner. So I was there Sunday morning and sitting down, and the guy had the radio on, and it says the Japanese just bombed Pearl Harbor. And I asked the guy, he says, where's Pearl Harbor? And he says, Hawaii. I says, well, where's Hawaii? I didn't know where either one was. And that's also, 2 months later, I joined, I took the day off and I went down and joined the Navy. That was March 2nd when I went in, 1942.
Oh, is that what inspired you to join?
Yeah.
Why did you agree to do this interview?
Why
did you agree to do the interview?
Why did I agree to?
Yeah.
I just felt I had to. Everybody else was joining, and all the young guys. And most of them were going Army, But my uncle had a friend from that's how I got interested in submarine school. He had a friend that was on the submarines. He used to come up every weekend. They go to Canada. But that's one of the reasons.
Why did you want to join the branch of military that you chose? Why did you want to join the Navy out of all of them?
Why did I want to join it?
Why the Navy? What made you choose the Navy over all the other ones?
I'll tell you why. My main reason why, if I got on a ship, I had a nice clean bunk, I had showers, I had nice food. If you're in the service in the Army or the Marines, you know how they, you know, they're out. We had it made, you know, in the Navy. And then on the submarines, you ate like kings. They had the best of food. They made sure they had a lot of fruit where possible. They made sure there was milk and all that stuff. And it was a little different. But it panned out. Oh, yeah.
What was one moment you were proud of? One moment you were proud of?
I can understand you.
What was one moment, like during the war of your service and everything, that you were proud of, like the most proud of? Yourself?
Oh, well, yeah. So, well, the thing, not me doing it, but the most thing I was proud of is when they showed that flag being raised at Iwo Jima. When they were tilting it up, straight it up. That was, I think that was the most and rigid picture of anything or anything that was ever done in World War II.
Why was that the moment that you, like, why did you choose that one out of all of them? Why were you most proud of that moment?
It was just one thing to see it being done, you know, and showing when they tear down the Japanese flag and then you see your own flag going up and waving on an island where there are thousands and thousands of Marines got killed in the first couple of days. It was beautiful.
How did you feel during your first days?
The first days of what?
Like, of the first days of the whole thing, like first days of your service and first days, like, in general.
Oh, the first days I was about, I'd like to give it up. I was, and when I was at boot camp at Quonset Point, Rhode Island, March was cold. We had Quonset huts, and none of our stoves worked. And I'm telling you, boy, it was some cold, and that's when you feel like giving it up. You be quiet.
Describe an average day at the base.
Average day at the base?
Yes.
Well, it's you get up at 5 in the morning or 5:30. You went out for calisthenics, you know, and you come in and have breakfast, and then you had classes, you know, about different things in the service. And I was one of the lucky ones that got picked for the first 2 weeks for KP duty. See, they take you in alphabetical order. So with me being Davis, I was one of the lucky ones that got paid KP for the. So I did my regular duties, training, but I didn't go on KP duties.
What are KP duties?
That's kitchen work. You get in there and you're whatever the cooks eat to be done, you know. Not just me, maybe a half a dozen of us, you know, at a time. That's KP.
How did your family react when they found you were, like, enlisted?
Oh, let's see. I can't tell you too much about that because I was separated from my family, my father and mother. Oh, back in, let's see, when I was 11. I was 11. My father passed away. He was 37 years old, never was born here. My mother went in the hospital. Then I went, my whole family went into foster care, state foster care. And I was on state foster care till I was 14. 15 I came down here and stayed with my sister. And that's how I got off. But I didn't know only one brother. I only knew one brother was out of 8 of us in Boston, where they were. And I finally found out when my mother lived, when I come home on leave, come down here and on leave, and I found out my mother was living in Wellesley, and that's how I got located. And then one by one, I finally found out where one brother was, one sister was, and that's how I went during it. But this, most of it was finding your brother and sister after the war was over, because we were all split up. That's one thing. And of course, after I come out of the Navy, I met Doris, and we got married after a year. So, and that's how it goes.
Earlier, you said that you needed medical service. What was that like? Medical service.
Medical?
Yeah, what was like the medical? Like, how did they treat you in the medical?
Oh yeah, they treated you fine. You know, when I went up in Hawaii, when I went to the hospital with stomach problems, they find, you know, try to find out what caused it, and they treated like kings. You know, it was great. It was really great. They never had a problem.
Was it the same on like the ships and everything? Or was
Oh
it
yeah,
different?
oh yeah. They had good corpsmen on the ship, but these guys knew their business. They were good. The servicemen, you know, they were well trained. The corpsmen, and they used Navy corpsmen with the Marines a lot of times in the landings. That's how good they were, and they learned a lot from them. Especially when they had the war in Korea. These guys taught them a lot. That's it. So, what do you got now?
How has your experience in the war affected your view on the world?
Overall affected me?
Affected your view on the world?
I just was, well, I'd say that, trying to think, give you a good, I don't think it affected me at all. I just went around my business, and I come out of the Navy and I started working for a certain party, and then I went on and run my own plumbing business myself, and I did real fine, so I got no complaints on that.
What was it like when you got home?
What
was it like when you came home?
Oh, God, I don't know. Because I was sent to electric I come back from Hawaii, and I went to electric hydraulic school in Washington, D.C. To learn electric hydraulics, because most of the gun mounts and the gun mounts and everything else are run on hydraulic. And I come back for that, and when I got through with the hydraulic school, they told me I had a year show duty. That means that I wouldn't be aboard ship after a year. And I was stationed in East Boston, so I used to come down every weekend. And that was it. That's everything. Because the war was all over when I was still in the service. And East Boston was close. Come back and forth. But when I came home every weekend, I was coming home on Route 6 because this new road wasn't in. You had to go through all the towns, coming down and going back to Boston, East Boston. So it was great. I had good duty. I got no complaints. Yeah, I enjoyed it. They treated me well, and at the base in East Boston, we had fun. I worked in the armory there, and I had the orders to disband everything on the base, and I had to help with that. Turn everything into South Boston Reception Center, and that was it. And I went back aboard after the war. I went back aboard after that. I went back aboard LST 532, which was a landing craft, and I was on that for a year before I took my discharge. We was traveling. We'd start from Bayonne, New Jersey, with loaded tank truck and take everything up to Argentia, Newfoundland, and then we'd start near the islands, St. Croix, Trinidad, St. Thomas, and we'd pull in, and all the bases were being dismantled, and everything come aboard our ship, and we drop it off. I made 5 trips like that, and that's how I finished my Navy career.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was it.
Thank you.